Engines roar on a moonlit stage, steel beasts roll a distant wage. Truckers' voices crying through the night, tales of speed and endless fights. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. All in dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways call our name. In this life, we find our fame. Neon lights and diner blues, truck stops where we share the news. Turning wheels in endless miles, stories fill the smoky aisles. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. All in dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways call our name. In this life, we find our fame. Neon lights and diner blues, truck stops where we share the news. Turning wheels and endless miles, stories fill the smoky aisles. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. All in dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good out there tonight. I hope you had a great day of trucking. I know I did. This guy right here, he had a great day of trucking, and everything I did was good, prosperous, and hey, you know what? It's part of that, keeping America moving forward. And you know what? Let's always say it, there's nothing without trucking for sure. And we are the backbone of this economy. Everything that you have and everything that you wear always somehow come on a truck there. Hey, we got a good show lined up for you tonight. Miss Nikki Thomas from the ATA. We got a lot to hear from her. And let me say it this way. We got a lot of questions we want to ask her tonight. And but I want to hear her story, how she got into the trucking industry. And, it's going to be a great show. And I'm so glad that she agreed to come on and share with us. We're going to talk a little bit about her story. We're going to talk a little bit about America's Road Team Selections, Driven, the new episode that the ATA's put out, Women in Trucking. We're going to cover it all. We just got a gamut of things to cover tonight. So y'all stay with us to the end. And you know what? I'm sure that you will be delighted. And I got some more announcements at the end of the show. I got something coming up in August the 28th, I do believe it is. We got a big announcement about August 28th coming up here pretty soon. So y'all just got to stick with us to the end. So with that said, let's go ahead and get my co-host in here, Mr. Steve Brand. Mr. Steve Brand, everybody.
Yeah, baby, we're rolling. Hey, but we're half dirty. They washed my truck the other night. It's half clean.
Oh, Steve-O, you riding dirty, brother. Always riding dirty.
Yes.
Steve, that song there, let me use that verbiage. I have never told you that song doesn't really mean that you're riding in a dirty truck. I don't know if you really know.
But it's a trucking show, so that's
it's a trucking show for sure.
We just change the meaning of the verbiage.
You know what it means, riding dirty, right?
Yes. We're not going to discuss that. So, yeah, we'll just stick with what we got because my white truck is usually gray. Like I said, they did wash it the other night, and lo and behold, I took off the next morning, didn't get 10 miles down the road, run into rain all day long.
All day long. Well, we had rain here this afternoon here in South Georgia, and we looking at that hurricane, the hurricanes out there, and we always got to look for it up in our area down across Florida, because you know how bad we got hit last year and on up into the Carolinas. So
Yes,
let's
sir.
just keep our eyes on those things for sure.
Hey, by the way, those of you have probably seen it on Facebook. Congratulations to him on 30 years of service.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. August 14th of 1995, we expanded into the Florida region with American Freightways. And I was actually a city driver. I was a city driver for 5 years. Believe it or not, I run the city for 5 years. And the other 25, I've been out here, as a road driver. But I enjoyed my time in the city because I like my customers, I like my route, and the LTL company I worked for before I come here. That's what I was a city driver. So, hey, hats off to the city drivers for sure.
Exactly. They're the reason why we got something to do. They go pick it up. And I appreciate it. Yeah, July 14th, 1996. So it's 29 years for me.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's amazing. But hey, when you like what you do and it turns into you love what you do, man, it's piece cake. Piece cake.
Thinking back over the trucking, the years of trucking, I was running the L2481. And it had no AC in it back then. I'm sure glad that regulation got passed to where they had to put AC in those trucks for sure. Steve-O, you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. I got a message there. Sorry.
Steve is never lacking for words, but I called him lacking for words just then.
Yes. Well, okay. Remember the old big hooded internationals, 9,200 internationals we had on the road?
Yes.
They sold a bunch of them to Yellow Freight. Yellow Freight took the fairing off of them, cut the AC belt, made them city tractors. Yes, sir. I could not believe that. I thought it has AC, and they cut the belt.
I got you. Let me go and get this out of the way. Here's our disclaimer. So the opinions expressed on Trucker Voices are those of the host and the guest and do not reflect the views of any employers, affiliates, or organizations for informational and entertainment purposes only. How about that, Steve-O?
Sounds good to me.
Well, we got
to stay out of trouble. That's all.
Just trying to stay out of trouble. Well, hey, before we get too far in, I do want to bring our guest on here in just a minute, but I do want to tell everybody that I'm going to put this QR code up here, and if you got a minute, or if you're listening to the show or watching it on the replay, somehow, some way, snap that with your phone. That'll take you directly to our new website, www.truckersvoices.com. You can get all the episodes there and all in one place. How about that, Steve?
Sounds like a winner to me.
We are getting out there, brother. We are covering the platforms for sure. So you can always find us on YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I mean, we want to make it available for everybody to hear these great stories anywhere, you can pick it up. But you know what, Steve? We got Nikki waiting in the wings there, and we don't want to belabor this too much longer. But, you've had an opportunity to work side by side with Nikki a little bit more than I have. So you want to say anything before we bring her on?
I say she's a great asset, and I can't wait to hear her story because there's a lot I don't know about her.
All right. Well, with that said, let's get ready to bring her on. So we want to say good evening and welcome to Truckers Voices, Nikki. We are thrilled to have Nikki on. She is the Vice President of Industry Affairs with American Trucking Association. Nikki is a driving force behind America's Road Team, Share the Road, Women in Trucking, and the brand new episodes of ATA's Driven series. She's here to share insight stories and the passion that keeps our industry moving forward. Nikki, welcome to the show. Her role in industry as a leader. I'm going to let her tell you a bit about all that and just get her background and how she became to serve as the Vice President of Industry Affairs at the ATA. So with our champion song, let's bring Nikki on in here. Nikki Thomas, welcome to Truckers Voices. So glad you come on the show with us tonight, and I hope we did you justice by that introduction.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking with you this hour.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is an honor to have you on here. So let's just jump right on into the interview and podcast here, and let's just we'll let you introduce yourself to our listening audience. Some's listening live now, but then some's going to be listening on the replay. So just tell us who you are, tell us your story about how you got into the industry, and we're going to sit back and listen, and then we'll just follow up with some more questions.
Sounds perfect. So I am Nikki Thomas, VP of Industry Affairs at ATA. And so what that means, I guess I'll do that first. What that means is, the truck programs are under my umbrella, as well as our Trucking U program, Lead ATA, the Mike Russell Image Award, my team works with as well. As well as our newest council, Women in Motion, launched out of the Industry Affairs Department. So we're still managing that. And then also, as you mentioned, Nothing Without Trucking, our new campaign, the industry campaign, and our new docuseries, Driven, is also under my umbrella, and I co-lead that with Jeremy, our VP of Industry or of Communications. Sorry, I was looking at the logo.
I was trying to get them up there. I forgot to tell you I had them loaded. I was trying to get them up there. So
yeah, you're so fancy.
but no, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's kind of my role, my kind of at ATA, my everyday is any one of those programs and all the components that go into it. Before ATA though, I worked at a music education association for several years, worked on special projects there. So there was on VH1 back in the day, or I guess back in my day, depending on when you start counting, they had Behind the Music. And so I worked a lot with educators across the country, kind of getting that program up and running. So that was a super fun project. After that, I worked at the Make-A-Wish Foundation for several years. The Mid-Atlantic chapter, DC, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. I was on the development side, so raising the money so that our other side of the office could grant wishes to those children who were deserving. Incredibly fulfilling job, mission driven. And then after that, I worked for an oil and gas association for 15 years. Worked my way up there and left there vice president of programs, development, marketing, and our educational foundation. So all of that kind of led me to ATA, and I think that it's given me kind of a great baseline of knowing how the association world works and the advocacy side, but also just building lasting programs and sustaining lasting programs. I was fortunate enough to walk into some pretty incredible programs here already. So that's kind of my background and how I landed here.
Absolutely. And I do want, before we actually jump into the questions on your current role, I do want to ask you a little bit about your former role as far as with the gas industry there. So tell us a little bit about what your role actually was there. What would your typical day look like there?
Sure. So I worked a lot with the events there. So we had different yearly events that I would help coordinate, working on putting together panels, making sure, we're herding all the cats, everyone's going in the same direction, so to speak. And then later on, I kind of added to my portfolio the educational foundation. So that was high school students getting internships throughout the summer. And then also just putting a lot of oil and gas professionals in schools around the country to kind of teach people about the industry and, the opportunities there. So that was really rewarding, very similar to ATA in that it's always something different when you're juggling a lot of deadlines high stress, but also high reward, I would say. So, yeah. So, and then I also launched an emerging leaders program for the next generation while I was there. And that was a lot of fun to work with too, bringing in guest speakers to the next generation, people who have just graduated from college. So,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. So fast forwarding to your role as Vice President of Industry Affairs at the American Trucking Associations,
Mhm.
and I'm going to ask you the same question. So, what does your typical day look like for you in that role now?
No 2 days are the same. So
No way. No way. Trucking never changes. What are you talking about?
most days I'm talking to captains, which is awesome. I've had a lot of really great conversations, learned a ton from our captains about cars and lingo, both with trucks and with, just learning my way around what they're saying when something goes wrong. Was not my forte. I still wouldn't say it is, but one day maybe. So yeah, I work on, right now we're focused on MCE and kind of getting everything ready for that across all of our programs. So working with my team, I have a really incredible team. Marketing for our programs is under us. So we spend a lot of time and love putting together kind of marketing plans, as well as content for our program participants across all of our programs. So if that's lead ATA, that's talking to state execs and trying to get them to come in a lot of times and talk to our lead group, or, a call on Washington. We just had a call on Washington for our Women in Motion Council. We also have one of those as part as our lead group. So it can be kind of working with the Hill team if that's kind of what's up next. So I would say no 2 days are the same, and that's what makes it fun and busy. And I go to bed every night kind of with my to-do list for the morning. That's kind of how I operate, and to keep me straight.
Sounds like you're a part of the trucking industry. There's no 2 days quite the same there. Sounds like you're a truck driver.
Well,
After she just explained all that, I'm
no
ready to take a
credentials.
nap. Yeah, she just explained her day. I'm ready to take a nap. I'm tired. I'm wore out.
Yeah.
When do you guys rest?
Yeah. When we're on vacation and we turn off our emails and our alerts on our phones.
Well, I think I said last week on the show, my father-in-law used to have an expression: sleep, get plenty of it when I'm dead. Just
Yes.
gotta go. So,
I mean,
but
there's coffee
anyhow,
for that, right?
yeah, exactly. Coffee, Baby Ruth candy bars, Coca-Cola,
Yeah, all the
So,
things.
but how do you see the ATA's mission evolving in today's trucking industry landscape?
Yeah, I think the mission is evolving just because, a lot of what we've spent time with our docuseries on, and I think is true with all of our programs, is just the way people consume media these days is so different. I mean, we're all on a podcast here, talking to all of our followers on Facebook, and so I think just kind of capitalizing on that and changing with the times and reaching people where they are is a way that at least I think within industry affairs we're trying to move and mold with society and keep the industry kind of at the forefront of people's minds as we do that. And so I think that that's one way that, though our mission is the same, right, to recruit drivers, to recruit technicians, the way that we do that looks a lot different as, these new platforms and new opportunities arise.
So Nikki, you got a lot going on. You're kind of wearing a lot of hats, so to speak, and and there's a lot of things. You got Women in Motion.
Mhm.
You got the new Driven series. You got road team captains that you're dealing with now. You got National Truck Driving Championship coming up. You got MC&E coming up. I mean, you got a lot of things coming up. So what are some of the biggest challenges and opportunities that you're working on right now that you could say that kind of sticks out?
Biggest challenges right now, I would just say it's a really tough time within the industry. And so, things like even from last year, like our Interstate One trailer, we've been working on getting renovations for that, kind of getting sponsors and support across the industry. And that's just a really tough conversation for a lot of companies to be having right now, right? And so I think that that's a little bit of a challenge for me personally right now is just we want that program specifically to have the best technology because we have the best drivers, right? So we want them to be able to showcase that and showcase the industry appropriately. And so I think that that's one of the challenges of the economy right now that's leading to just challenges across the industry affairs department, all of our programs, but that one specifically. And so that's one of the biggest challenges, I guess, but also opportunities. There's life cycles to everything. So we're in a down, but we will be up. We just kind of have to hang in there, which we will do, and we'll find new ways and get through it. So I think that's the opportunity, and just kind of what comes a little bit with age maybe is that it's going to be okay. We're going to recover, and just trying to plan accordingly.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough time. Definitely a tough time
Yeah.
out there. And whether people want to admit it is or it ain't, everybody's still kind of denying it a little bit. And even us on our personal finances, we don't want to spend the money because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring just yet. If that
100%.
makes any sense. But how does your work directly impact the truck drivers and the carriers on the road?
Well, hopefully we're recruiting more truck drivers to be on the road, and we're highlighting carriers, appropriately for all that they do, all they invest in the future workforce. I think that that's a story that is worth telling through our docuseries. So hopefully we're doing justice by telling those stories and continuing to look for them as the series continues. So I think that that's kind of where I intersect is hopefully recruiting new talent to the industry and telling these inspiring stories that I haven't met one yet, that doesn't make me kind of like stop and reflect on my own journey, and passion for what I do. So I think that that's really unique to our industry.
And the new series there, I actually went and watched them, and I was watching them, and I've got a nephew, not a nephew, he's a cousin, and he's thinking about getting a CDL, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to send those to him. So that will inspire him, especially the guy that I can't remember his name, but he come out of a real low income poverty area. What was his name?
Germany, from South Dallas Driving Academy.
That's right. And he was inspiring. So I said, I'm going to send this to him. And so maybe, to our listening audience, if you know somebody that's trying to think about get their CDL or get into the industry, send them these episodes from YouTube. It might inspire them and encourage them to pursue a career, in the trucking industry. So let's move on and let's go, talk about America's Road Team. So America's Road Team, for those who aren't familiar with it, and what exactly America's Road Team is, why is it such the cornerstone of ATA's outreach?
Yeah, I mean, Chris says now, and he says to our staff regularly, everything we do flanks advocacy, and our captains are just incredible examples of people who love their job, love what they do, and are passionate about the next generation and introducing school-age kids to lawmakers, to the industry and what it has to offer. And so I think that's what makes it the perfect cornerstone, is just because our drivers are media trained and they are passionate and they are, willing to help always. And I think that really speaks to so many Americans across the country.
Okay. All right. And that picture I just put up there, I'm kind of biased toward that picture because that was our 2017, 2018 team. That was me and Steve in that picture there. So
Yeah.
I chose that one to throw up on the
That was a
screen.
lot. That was a lot.
20 years, right?
That's been a few years ago for sure.
Yeah. 10 years. 10 years. I'm sorry. My math is awful.
Wow, that's crazy. I couldn't even do the math in my head. It's been so
Clearly,
long.
my math is awful.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Steve.
I was proud then, and I'm even more proud now.
Absolutely.
Things I get to do and have done. And just to back up on your question or conversation just a second ago, I always tell the children when I talk to them, young people, I'm sorry, they're not children, they're young adults. When they ask about getting into the industry, I try to feel them out, and I said, "Is that kind of your dream, to drive a truck or be a technician or something like that?" And they're saying, "Yeah." I said, "Chase that dream. Don't let anybody steer you clear. Because if I would have let people direct me, I wouldn't be where I am today. I mean, trucking's been a good life. I mean, I can't complain. And it's, hate to say this, but it's a lot what you make out of it.
It is.
That's any job. If you go to work and you're mad and upset, it's going to be a bad day.
Yeah.
Go to work happy.
I think like so many, I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but kind of relates. Like we just did a WIM survey, and we surveyed women and asked them what they were looking for, within their careers, and if they're happy within their jobs and things like that, and the opportunity to move up. And so many of them referenced, and just like so many captains that I've talked to and characters through the docuseries, they all just kind of mention that that family mentality and that grateful spirit that I think just the salt of the earth, and you want to do good work and wake up and enjoy what you do every day. And so I think that can that really appeals to people in these times, just kind of a comforting place to land.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Since we're talking about the road team, what's some good qualities that stand out on a driver for a road team captain?
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, I think just being able to articulate your story, right? Like everyone has a story, but you have to be able to have thought about it and be able to articulate that. That will unequivocally make you be able to connect with people around the country. If you can talk about yourself, people find things in common with those people. And I think, you all know you're at these events, you're talking to people through the podcast. So just being able to find those common threads with people to kind of pull them in and to be able to listen, I think that's really important as well. Taking feedback, I think, is really important. Not taking things too personally, I think, is important. And so, yeah, I would just say being able to kind of articulate your story and, be approachable and, grateful for the opportunity to be at whatever event we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. And staying on that topic there, this is kind of a rhetorical question to me, but it won't be to our listening audience, but because I know the answer to what I'm fixing to ask you. But so what kind of training or support do captains receive to help them represent the industry so well?
Yeah, so we go through media training with the captains, and so I think that helps a lot. As well as I know that, just kind of getting out there and going to the events and having the support of, captains that have been doing these events for a long time or speaking, and just kind of having those people in your corner, I think helps bring everybody up as well. But I think the media training helps get them ready to kind of go with those talking points from an ATA perspective.
Right. Exactly. Go ahead, Steve.
I hope I don't put you on the spot on this question, but can you share a memorable story or a moment that you've had with the road team?
So last selections, Last selections was my first year being a judge. Of course, I've been with ATA for going on 3 years now, so I was still very new as a judge, and I'm a crier, so I was expecting people to tell their stories, and I was trying to keep it together, but I think I cried like start and stopped, like probably about 8 or 9 times. I mean, it was just like insane. At one, I had to be like, I'm really sorry. I need a minute, just because it is really touching to see, people. It's uncomfortable. Nobody loves public speaking. Nobody loves talking about themselves or like tapping into pain in certain instances. But I do feel like that's what makes us like humans. And so when people are able to do that, when they're uncomfortable and in front of a group of people they don't know, I was trying to keep a straight face for most of
Right,
them.
right.
I had Crowder at one point in the corner. I had Rich at one point when I'm like crying and I'm like, I can't keep it together, guys. Like I just need
Yeah.
to collect myself. So I think that's like something that sticks out, and just trying to be, I guess, true to myself in some ways.
Well, I tell you, I've worked with a lot of captains over the last 8 years, and there's definitely some stories.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Definitely some stories.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you talking about crying and all. And I won't name who the captains were, but I made 2 captains cry, and I didn't even know what I was doing because I was just doing the media part of it, and I was like, "Wait a minute." I guess it's the nerves that got to them for sure.
Yeah.
Which was it was fun, but I didn't really go there to make anybody cry as far as the
Yeah.
media stuff goes. How important is it for a captain to represent both professionalism and personal storytelling whenever they speak in public? And that kind of goes in what we was talking about as far as stories go.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, representing yourself and being able to tell, your story about how the industry's impacted your life. And, in a lot of situations, it's, generations of drivers in your family. And I think that, that's a unique angle that resonates with a lot of people. And professionalism too. I mean, I think that that's something that comes with being a captain as well, and kind of putting the blazer on, and having that kind of, this is a business and we're here to do a job and to represent ATA and the industry well. And so it's a source of pride, right? And I feel like captains kind of stand a little taller in their blazer, and they always, look sharp. And I think that's part of it as well.
One of my most memorable moments was the blazer ceremony whenever we received our blazers, and I was like, "This is really happening," and it's been one of my proudest moments, I can say for sure.
Yes, most definitely. Most
Yeah, yeah.
so, but the next selection policy process. I can't even talk tonight. What did I put in my tea? I don't know. But anyway, the next selection process, I'm gonna give up for the road team is just around the corner. Applications are coming due.
Yep.
What can applicants expect?
The application deadline is September 5th. So it is upon us, a couple weeks away. And so, we will make our finalists will be selected and notified beginning of November. MCE is a little bit later this year. So that's the reason for that. And so, we'll be sending out those notifications right after MCE. And then as far as the process for the finalist, it's a weekend at our headquarters. Again, we had it at our headquarters last process as well. And so, that allows us to have a lot of meals together, spend time together, do a little sightseeing, and bring people into kind of the DC realm. you know, and then we usually have a banquet and things like that. So we try to keep everyone, you know, really busy. And then, you know, the preparations, of course, people do, like Tim mentioned, have a lot of nerves. So practicing a lot with your mentors. You know, they'll be able to kind of lean on their mentor throughout the process to help get them ready, and practice as much as they need to feel like they can tackle the week ahead of them for the finalist.
So Nikki, I know applicants are coming in, and then some are still, you know, getting ready to send theirs in. So what advice would you give to those drivers considering that's applying for this next road team?
I would say to answer every question. So there's a lot of times where, you know, they're on there for a reason. So if you just leave it blank, we don't really have anything to go off of. So even if you don't have the most experience, or it seems like, you know, not the best, you know, in relevance, it's better than leaving it blank. So I would just take that, read through the application process and kind of gather your stuff before you start filling it out, and make sure that you fill it out completely. So that would be my number one. You'd be surprised how many people, you know, just kind of leave all of the group questions up blank. And so incredible person, but it's hard to score them against somebody who took the time to fill out all the questions. So
I got you.
Right. Is there any conceptions that drivers have about the application process or of the role itself?
I don't know that. I don't know that I know a misconception at this point. I don't know that. I mean, I do feel like
Right.
it is a lot of learning. And once they kind of get, once they become a captain, you know, like learning how to put together Interstate One and all that kind of stuff. It is hard work. It's fun work and rewarding work, of course, but
Right.
yeah, there are a lot of long hours at events. So I'm sure you guys can attest to that when things don't go right,
Yes, ma'am.
or
Yes, ma'am.
flights are delayed.
And then you don't work with Interstate One for 6-8 months, and then you get called to take it someplace. You're like, okay, what goes where? You're looking at pictures. You're trying to remember.
Well, and now there's the brand new Volvo that has so much
Yes.
technology on it. It's incredible. And so
I
there's
can't wait to see that next week.
Yeah.
Hope I get a chance to stalk it out.
Yeah. Well, I don't
So-
need to be a buzzkill here, but actually we aren't able to bring Interstate One to NTDC this year because there was a problem with the convention center. We didn't have sprinklers if people were going to be in the trailer of any trailer, so TAD as well. Then they had to have a sprinkler system. So we weren't able to install one in the 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, so unfortunately it won't be there to see, but which is kind of
I guess captains holding water pistols, water
I know,
cannons.
It's like we could figure something out, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
Oh goodness. So Nikki, so for those that make it to the selection process and they make it to DC, which is an honor to make it there, how can they best prepare to do the interviews and the selection process?
yeah, I mean, I feel like people kind of have to know how they prep best, right? Like that's something that I've had to learn. And so, you know, practicing standing up and saying it out loud, I feel like helps a lot. Writing it down, whatever your speech is, I feel like, you know, that helps. Leaning on your mentors because they're there for a reason. And, you know, they kind of have gone through the process and they're there to help. So use that as a resource. I think would be another great tip and advice that I would have. You know, some people are like, oh, I've got this. I don't need kind of, you know, this is my story. You know, I'm working on it with my, you know, husband or wife or whatever. And that's not bad, but, you know, veteran captains have a lot of great wisdom and have kind of been through it and kind of know what we're looking for in the end. So take that extra time to pick up the phone and practice it with those people, or find someone in your company who's a captain, even if they're not a mentor, and go that extra mile. You can really tell, who's spent time preparing when you're in the room judging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So, what makes a candidate, if they're going through the selection process, what makes a candidate really shine in front of the panel?
I mean, I remember the names of the captains that made me cry. So I think it's like you remember their stories, right? And the ones who just were always there trying to help or introduce themselves. And so I think that just tapping into your story and yourself, I think is a great way to make yourself memorable. If you think you should share a story, if you think it will have an impact, the chances are it will. Plan on kind of sharing it from the jump, and I think that resonates. So.
Yeah, and I'm gonna step out on a limb here, and I'm going to give some advice to any of you guys that are listening and gals that are listening to us tonight. Your story is your story, and that's how you got into the trucking industry. So, use your story, and think about it. There's been so many people that I've helped mentor through the company road team, and they just want to go and write a speech, and then I'll start asking them. I say, "Hey, well, tell me how you got into the trucking industry," and they'll tell me. I'm like, "There's your speech right there." So, tell your story, and that's how this podcast got started. Was we just wanted to hear stories of truck drivers. They're just everybody has a different pathway how they got into the trucking industry. So, I'll hush.
And I don't think it needs to be like super produced either, right? Or super polished. I think that people being like awkward and nervous is okay. Like I'm pretty introverted on like a normal basis in my everyday life, and so I think that it's okay to be yourself and to be nervous and to be awkward. We're not expecting you to be polished from the jump. That takes time, and we want you to be authentically you too.
Yeah, be yourself. And that's the key.
I agree with both of you. Tell your story, be proud of it, no matter how goofy you think it is. Matter of fact, that goes with what I just did this afternoon. And I read the handwriting of it, whatever you call that, the words. And I forgot I said it, but it's the truth. I wanted to drive a truck so bad that when my dad let me cut the grass, I put the wagon on the back of the lawnmower. So I thought I was driving a tractor trailer cutting grass. I mean, I just was possessed with this industry, and some people look at you and go, really?
Wait a minute, Steve. I never heard that in your story when I heard your speech years ago.
I didn't put it in my speech.
If I would have been your mentor, I would have said, put that in your speech.
Exactly. I went another direction, which, so, but I agree with you, Nikki. Be yourself. Mm-hmm. Be yourself. If you're that passionate person, talk about it, and show it. Personal experience, anybody out there listening, getting ready to go through this, possibly. I went through it for years, people laughing at me, making fun of me, getting into TDC, used to call me Mr. Safety and all this other stuff. And I'm like, hey, it's me. It's me. Mm-hmm. And finally, one day I looked at the guy in the mirror and said, be yourself. Stop listening to the other people. Stop going in a shell. Just come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a few.
I think the professionalism too is really like the suit, right? Like I'm still the same person, whether I'm in sweats or whether I'm in a suit, but I definitely look more professional in a suit, right? And so I think that if you can kind of like tap into that, like you might be in fancier clothes, but you're still the same person. Then I think that, and also just recognizing that everyone there is nervous. Every single finalist is nervous. It's completely normal, and you're not alone in that. And so if you can kind of just like this is the day. I got to get through it, and
Right.
move with some confidence through it. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I agree with the suit. I just got to make this comment. We got away from the 1970s cowboy hat and leather vest and boots and, stuff like that. I mean, that's, now you look at a guy and you're like, he's not a truck driver, because people still have that mental impression of Sonny and Will, Smokey and the Bandit, that type of impression,
BJ and the Bear.
Yeah, BJ, hey, Paul Seashorn.
Yeah, we had him on
the show. So
Oh.
we'll go ahead and move on here. Looking ahead, what are you most excited about for the next group of road team captains?
I mean, it's the new stories, right? It's getting to see them. This last class, it's been really rewarding and inspiring, quite frankly, to kind of see, like, not that they weren't passionate people, because of course they all are, of course they're captains, but just kind of that new kind of fire in a new way, and that new sense of pride for becoming a captain, and then just knowing some of their stories. I know a lot of their stories because, of course, I was in the room, and I'm learning more about the veteran captains, every day. And so I think that it's just that excitement of this new class, and like welcoming them into the family, that is. And I think that that's so unique and exciting. So I know our whole team, Serena is now heading up the truck programs, and so she'll kind of be the forefront, and she's really excited to be there as well, and kind of putting this together and highlighting it the way that it deserves for ATA.
So how has the programs grown or changed in recent years, and where do you see it heading also?
The America's Road Team program specifically?
Yeah, America's Road Team and the Share the Road program.
We continue to build with different companies and having those events at state capitals and things like that. I think that grows every year, with our state association partnerships as well. And so just kind of having more of those, collaborations, like with TAT, and doing more of those every year. We're trying to beat our last year's number, and we'll continue doing that, or the rallies and things like that we go to. So I think just building those partnerships and letting them, experience our road team, I think helps, continue to move it forward.
Right. How can the general public or other drivers support or get involved in the road team's mission?
If you're a driver and you want to apply to be a captain, that would be great. We would love to look at your application. One of the things I didn't mention, but I want to just say, with the videos that everyone submits as part of the submission too, it is, we do look for people who are their authentic self, who kind of don't go through rounds and rounds of edits and have, super produced videos. And so that can be hard to get to know somebody. And so what the judges kind of look at is that authenticity. And so if you're thinking about applying and you're doing a video, you don't have to cut and do it again 100 times, just to kind of go at it as yourself. And I think it will be great. So that would kind of be my advice.
Yeah, and that goes back to that old adage: be yourself, for sure. There was a driver before our team, which you just reminded me how long ago it was. But there was a driver for our team who just set his phone up on the dash of his truck in his sleeper and just did it right there. So it doesn't have to be a big production. It really doesn't. You don't have to use green screens and all this stuff. Just be yourself, for sure. Moving on, and looking at the road team, what can ATA do to ensure that the road team continues to reflect diversity and professionalism in today's trucking industry?
Yeah, I think every application, class that we have, it feels like there is more diversity, more women, minorities in every class. I think it's representative of the country, and so I think that that's great, and that's a way that we are excited to have the continual growth, just because I feel like that helps. It always helps to see people that look like you in the materials and things like that. We have an eye for that when we're going through things. And so I think that that's a focus of ours too. We definitely want the people who are prepared and score the highest and do the best as far as the process. And we just kind of believe that those things will work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Steve ask you one last question, and then I'm going to open up the phone line. We have 10 minutes left to the top of the hour, but I'm going to let Steve ask one last question, and we'll wait to see if some phone calls come in. If not, we'll just continue on. And but go ahead, Steve.
What's one message you'd like to leave with all the professional drivers listening tonight?
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do every day. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thankful for your contributions to our economy, your time away from your family when you're on the road, your professionalism, your attention to detail and safety. I think that a lot of people take for granted, how meticulous drivers are for keeping their vehicles safe. And so that was something that I've learned, all of the different, pre-trip, post-trip, all of the captains with our trucks. If something is starting to not, look great, they're going to call us and they're going to tell us because they want to keep people safe. And so, just thank you for your passion for the industry and for your commitment to your job.
Nice.
Well, I actually have the phone line open. I just want to tell everybody the phone number is 251-616-2151. If you want to call in, and if you got any questions for Nikki, Steve, or myself, we'll be glad to try. Hey, got a phone call coming in. So
call. Oh
magic.
my gosh.
Magic. He's got the touch.
I'm going to tell you, I called it. I called it earlier before we started the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ben Atkinson.
Yeah.
Did you call my name?
I did.
You're the lucky winner, brother.
The host on there sometimes can just be, average. You know what I mean? But when you get guests on there, I'm sitting here listening, and Nikki, hello, everything's fantastic. How she babysits the right way. I appreciate that 100%. But you touched a nerve when you're talking about the guys in the interviews. I followed a guy. He did his speech, and I walk in the room, and all the judges are teared up, and I basically have to walk away, because my father before I went, you know what I mean? And so the emotions of that room and the stress of that room and the excitement and the fun that I felt was just fantastic, but it's a great program for everybody. And Nikki, thank you. And you and Chris, Spears, and everyone for what you do. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it made you feel a little bit more at ease, right? Like, we're just people if we're all kind of crying in a room together, like what's happening on any given Tuesday for us to all be crying in a room together. So.
Well, Ben,
we're small. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ben. Finish your thought.
We're small town. I started in the VOTEC. My story is long, and I started from here, and I went from kindergarten to the Capitol. What I've done with this program is fantastic, and to see the women in the industry has opened up my eyes of what all the industry is about, not just about truck drivers. So, that's fantastic, so, but, and one thing Chris Spears says was be yourself, real.
I think we're losing his signal. Ben, I think we lost your signal there, Ben.
Okay, no problem.
Ben, yeah, we're losing your signal, but hey, thanks for calling Truckers Voices, Ben.
Nice to hear your voice.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Hey Ben, you're
Okay, thank you.
hey Ben, you're back with us now. Hey, I do have one last question for you, Ben.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what did you think about the media guy?
Well, he was a little pushy. He got really close to you, really, really close. He sometimes may have felt you uncomfortable, but I didn't really step back like I wanted to do any kind of.
Yep. I tried, but I did look up to you, Ben.
I looked down to see what you had to say.
Oh boy.
See you, brother. Have a good night.
See you, Ben. Thanks for calling. See you next week, buddy.
Everybody, Ben Atkinson, road team captain for America's road team and ABF there for sure. So, all right. Well, that was a good call. And Ben, he is a great supporter of the show, as well as Scott Post and Nancy Post. They're great supporters of the show. But anyway, Nikki, it is getting to, we got like 5 minutes left in the show. If you could see yourself 15 years from now, what would you say to yourself 15 years from now?
15 years from now, I would hope that I would be able to build each of the programs in unique ways at ATA and leave a mark there. And, like I feel like Elizabeth, she built these programs. And so, building on that kind of great ideas and making them your own, but still having them be important to so many people, I feel like is exciting. So that's what I'm hoping to do with all of our programs and WIM and the docuseries, and just shedding a light on the incredible industry and people that make it.
Absolutely. And I'll say it again, the docuseries, I'm really impressed. Well done, put together, great stories, just absolutely great stories.
Leaves you hanging.
Can I drop that?
Say that again now?
You can watch the docuseries at drivendoc.org, drivendoc.org.
Right.
We have more coming up, and we're also going to start dealing and talking a little bit about some of the issues in the industry that are, like lawsuit abuse, tort reform, and things like that coming up. So that'll kind of take a twist and a turn, and hopefully keep people tuning in.
Okay. All right. And say that website again.
drivendoc.org. So drivendoc.org.
Okay. And they can also find those on YouTube also, right? If they search it.
Yep. That's right.
All right. Steve-O, last words before we close this show out. We're going to post-trip the show. How about that?
Sounds good to me. Nikki, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Hold on. We got another call coming in.
Hold that thought.
And I can tell you who it is. Let's say hello to Miss Gina Jones. All right, hold on. Hello, sister. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I just wanted to call in, and this is Gina Jones, a veteran of America's Road Team, and I wanted to say hi to Nikki. You're doing an amazing job, and Steve and Tim. It's always great to have you do these shows, so we get and the truckers and your visitors get to get the experience of all that comes out to be America's Road Team captain. But so many great opportunities that we do get to do, and Women in Motion. Let's get women out there. We need to get more women in as the road team captains, and it's just amazing what we do. I know Tim and Steve, we all enjoy working together and being family, and that's what's really important.
Yep, absolutely, Gina.
Gina was just at the White House too, so she's pretty much famous now.
Yeah.
There's I can tell you a story, Gina, if you don't mind. I was actually texting her while she was standing there right before she went on stage, and I couldn't. And I was actually on my break, and I was sitting there watching it live. So I was so proud of Gina.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just something that you would never think that would happen in a lifetime. And and it does happen. So, you know, anything can come your way. Love what you do, and it'll all come out. And I mean, I can't express how much I love what I do in the trucking industry, and meeting all the working and meeting the America's Road Team and our leadership. It's just the best.
Yeah, I agree.
Any last words, Nikki, for Gina there?
No, good to hear your voice. Thank you for always being positive and
all you
encouraging.
do.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear you always.
Yeah. Well, Gina, thank you.
You guys have a good night.
You too, Gina, and tell Steve we say hello and y'all truck safe, okay?
Yep. See you later.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
What a great team, Gina and Steve. They're a great team, and so avid supporters of the show too. But it's been a great show. We're gonna wind it up, Nikki. Wow, thank you for coming on. It's been a fantastic conversation tonight, and thank you for taking your time and sharing your knowledge, sharing your passion for the programs like America's Road Team, Share the Road, Women in Motion, and the new Driven series. And thank you for reminding us how important it is to keep telling our stories of people that are behind the wheel. And to all our listeners, we hope that you're walking away inspired, informed, and until next time, keep the wheels turning and stay safe out there. And remember, your voice matters right here on Truckers Voices. We will see you right here on Truckers Voices next week. Bye, everybody.
See y'all.
Bye.
I've been going all week in a semi-truck. I'm doing anything I can to try to get back home. See the woman I love and the babies I miss. It's tough all over, no, I can't pretend. And then I'm gone again. Well, it's tough all over, I see it every day. A good man working hard to try to earn a decent wage. There's a struggle everywhere, don't matter where you've been. And then I'm gone again. I ain't saying nothing you ain't already heard. When you're a man on the road, you gotta take the word. When I leave out of town, I tell my babies I'm sorry, 'cause they don't understand that I'm working for them. And then I'm gone again. Well, it's tough all over, I see it every day. A good man working hard to try to earn a decent wage. There's a struggle everywhere, don't matter where you've been. And then I'm gone again. And then I'm gone again. The only reason that I'm working so hard is to make a good life for my family. And I promise that I'm gonna be there, but if I'm not, I'll be gone again. Well, it's tough all over, I see it every day. A good man working hard to try to earn a decent wage. There's a struggle everywhere, don't matter where you've been. And then I'm gone again.